All right, page 2. I did 1 and 3 together on a different video. This is page 2 of section 2, picturing data. So circles or pie graphs use relative frequencies and a central angle measurement out of a total of 360 degrees or 100%. These graphs are good for showing data sets as a whole, how they're dispersed. The wedges should be 10 or fewer, so not a lot of categories. So this is for small data again, okay? You can have, well, necessarily small data, small number of categories though, small number of classes. So following the examples, let's see, number of students received an associate degree out of 120. Is 120 out of 500. Number of students that received an associate degree is 120 out of a total of 500 recipients of the different degrees, okay? Or about 25%, 24% of the data, okay? So 120 out of 500 apparently comes out to about 24%, okay? 24%. You can see it in this pie here already put in there. Well, how did that get there? Well, it's the frequency over the number, the sum, right? This over this, times 360 degrees. So let me get my pencil working here. Come on, pencil. There we go. So percent equals frequency over n, which is, so this thing that I wrote up here, 500 times 100 equals there. Let me get my calculator out to check some of these, just to make sure. 120 divided by 500 is 0.24 times 100 is 24%. So to get the, oh, that's right there. So to get the wedge, like how much to, like how do they know to put this as like about a quarter of the circle to be 24%? Well, here's the percentage, but instead of multiplying it by 100, multiply it by 360. Okay, so this is going to be 120 divided by 500 gives you 0.24 times 360. So what percentage? 24% is how much of 360? So apparently it's 86.4. What is 360 into 4 pieces would be times 25, so that'd be 90, right? So this is approximately a quarter of the circle. So you can make that one first. If this one, the bachelor's degree comes out to 51%, so that's the other half, so that you know the master's is less than a quarter, and then you stuff the other two in the circle. Okay, so let's try one. Reasons why we travel, construct a pie chart. Use the data to determine the degrees and the percentages needed to construct a pie chart for the data. Reasons we travel. Purpose, personal visits for friends and relatives, work-related and leisure. This is the data they came up with and the frequencies that they had. So 146 over, what was the total? Add this column up. If they don't give you the total, you need to come up with the total. So there's 800 people that they surveyed or whatever. So because I need that for the probability. So if we put this out of this is a relative frequency. Okay. If you put your, remember, relative frequencies are F over N's. So this comes out to 0.1825 times 360 to get the percentage or degrees of the, degrees of the pie, 65.7. The percentage was 0.1825. I must have rounded a little. This is 18.25%. So I need, I don't know, about 65.7 degrees versus, because look up here. So half of this is 180 degrees. A quarter is 90 degrees. So half of that is 45 for like an eighth of the pie. Okay, so we got that many there. So this is about 67. So it's kind of in between amounts. So let's do the rest just to see where we end up here. This is 80. This is 0.1625 times 360 is going to give me 58.5%. You know, real life, it's not just beautiful, easy numbers. This is real data from something. I'm getting the percentages so I'll be able to write them in. 225 over 800. (101 degrees), so a little more than a 90. (299 over 800) is going to come out to 0.37375 times 360 is going to come out to 134.55 degrees. That's a lot. And this is going to come out to 37.38%. Okay, so I need to make this pie here and do my best to identify these things. So, you know, best case, in Alex, you have to move things around, so it's a little easier with their help. 37%. That's a lot. It might help to kind of refer to this picture. That's 51.24. So 37 is kind of, if you add 5 more, that's 29, so even farther. So that's kind of a big wedge here. So I'm just approximately kind of go like this, and that's 37% approximately, and that is leisure. Okay, and then we have work was the next biggest one. Work related was 28, so a little more than a quarter. 28 was 101 degrees, so a little more than a quarter is where I'm getting them, a little more than a quarter. So I don't know, I'm doing the best I can here, kind of here, because a quarter would be kind of here. So this is a little more than a quarter for, just to be clear, this leisure was 134 degrees. Okay, so 180 is half, so not half, but more than a quarter. Okay, this is work, and it's going to be 28%, but it was 101 degrees approximately. Okay, so these degrees are not going to be in the final picture, but just for explanation purposes, this is the relative frequency. The percentage, okay, that goes on the graph. The degree tells you kind of how wide the wedge should be, okay, if you have to make one of these. And then this is 18%, and this is 16%, so, you know, do the best you can. This was visit relatives, and this was personal business. This 18% was about 65, 66 degrees. 66. So, not a quarter, but more than an eighth. And this was, visits was 56 degrees. So a little smaller. So maybe kind of there, just to make it a little more obvious. Okay, and then they would be colored and so forth.